So exactly how do we fuck up a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film? The formula is pretty much laid out. Who said y'all had to go and try to reinvent the wheel? Did you see the people stand on the bus and go live and waited for the chainsaws to come to their face? I saw it. I saw it. Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Tyra here with another struggle review, here to discuss Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now this is a 2022 film and it's newly released on Netflix. Now before I get into multiple problems I had with this film but narrowed it down to 6, I need you guys to drop down and subscribe to my channel and like this video. I'm going to give you guys a moment to do that, and then we're going to come back and discuss all things. Why would y'all try to Laurie Strode this whole situation? They were trying so hard to make fetch happen. Sometimes fetch don't need to happen. Sometimes we just need a regular Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. Is that too much to ask? Ain't nobody asked for this.
Go back.
Now that you guys have hopefully subscribed to see more of me, let's get into this tragedy. Now, I like to think of myself as a Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan, for good or bad. This is the 9th installment, and we have seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise go through some stuff. Now, of course, we had the terrifying and fresh screams and terror from 1974, and then we got into the campy, damn near comical, downright insane 80s and 90s installments, all the way to the resurgence of the franchise in the early 2000s that brought the franchise back to where it first started. We've had a 3D film, we've had an origin story. I'm surprised we haven't found a way to get Leatherface's ass to space. Bottom line, he's reached the franchise status of a Freddy, a Pinhead, and a Jason. But that does not mean that we're gonna take and enjoy everything. Especially not this clear cash grab. Now, this is a franchise where you can go any goddamn direction you want to, but you also need to be mindful to respect what came before. Here are my 6 reasons why this film sucked. Now, though this isn't the first time the franchise has decided to do this, but bringing this franchise into current day and pulling it away from that 70s rural aesthetic, it always ruins the film for me. When we get so far removed from that 1974/80s aesthetic, the grimy, rural, lack of technology, and that sense of isolation that works so well for Leatherface, the killer, to be unhinged with a fucking chainsaw, it is completely taken away. When you try to mix that in with current day and bring a killer like Leatherface into a 2022 scenario, it just doesn't mix. There are so many options and advances now as far as technology, mobility, phone service, social media, all these different outlets, to where it just doesn't work in a franchise like this one. The main thing about Leatherface is him being off the grid and going unnoticed, doing what he's able to do and kill people for so long. When you add in current day and technology, it just takes a whole lot of that away. So much so here that we don't even bother to write into the script, which is played out, but I was at least expecting a moment of, oh my God, there's no reception here, no cell service. We don't even do that. We actually have people standing around going live as they're being murdered, and we have shit like an autopilot car driving you away from the killer. Like, completely stupid. Now, the final girl in that group of friends that are depicted in every Leatherface film is really, really important. Everything else, whatever, that situation there is essential to every single film. Now, with this being a 90-minute film, I wasn't expecting a whole lot of character development. You rarely get that with most horror franchises, such as this one. Now, we normally meet a group of friends. They are lured, trapped, tortured, and killed off one by one until we're left rooting and en route with our final girl. Now, this gang of friends is never anything incredible. Most of the time, we know that they are there for us to enjoy them getting slaughtered, get all this blood, get all this good stuff. But they make no effort here for us to care about anybody. Like, the thing about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise is that you are suffering with these people. You feel so sorry for them. They're so innocent. How did they get into this situation? You want them to escape. You want them to live. But in the end, we know that they probably won't. But it's worth it being on the journey with them to try. These people here, these were some of the most dull, boring, uninteresting, stupid ass motivation for them to even be their people that I've ever seen. Nobody here was really likable. There was nobody you really wanted to root for. And then we have some confusion with the final girl. I am a horror fan. The final girl is important. This is who we're here for. This is who we're rooting for the entire time. If nobody else escapes, I need her to make it. We have a sisterly duo here, one more unlikable than the other. But we have that one final girl that we are supposed to be following, and this is supposed to be some triumph arc ass shit for her because she was the victim of a school shooting. So we know that this is supposed to be her character arc, and she's going to, go above and beyond, and she's going to excel and become something that she never was or never thought she could have been before she got here via the gun situation near the end. Yeah, didn't like her, didn't care for her. She was very, very dull and boring. Even her look, she just looked dry. I was not interested, and I was very much confused at who exactly our final girl was at some points. But I like for it to be definite. We need the final girl, and we need the other girl who's gonna die. Personally, they both could have died, and I would have been okay with that. Where were the friends and family? Where was Leatherface's family? Now, it can be very understated how important they are to the Leatherface Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. Sometimes we don't have Leatherface make an appearance in the film until way, way later on in the film. It takes a little time. Maybe he's transitioning. But for the most part, we are left with a sick, sadistic, cannibalistic ass family. Where were they? They normally keep the intensity up, keep the film going, give us as an audience something to do until Leatherface starts to fucking Leatherface. And it's just essential to just seeing how sick his upbringing is and why he continues to do the things that he does. And we get really iconic shit like, oh, my boy, my sweet, sweet boy. He's just a confused, sensitive boy. Meanwhile, he's chopping people up and taking their faces off. Or we get that, Full Metal Jacket ass action. Yeah, you motherfucker, I'm gonna, blow your brains out, knock all 25 of your teeth out, and then after that, I'm gonna vomit on you, and I want 55 push-ups, and then we're gonna eat you. All of that shit. I like that shit. I love it. All super duper honorary, unapologetic assholes. His family all being in on it and regulating shit like the law, being the sheriff, makes the film flow so naturally. The family was always essential, even with the 80s campy versions, because the essential goal was to feed Pawpaw. Like, we trying to feed Papa. That end game was them just being really sick, cannibalistic, deranged ass people. But here, all we seem to get is a orphanage owner who croaks because her heart has been broken, and they are sure to add in that typical bad boy. He's a little suspect. We don't know what to think of him. He's crazy, but in the end, he's really a good guy. He's going to sacrifice himself and save one of us. Yeah, that was not enough. All the kills here felt very, very unearned. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise is all about that. Will he or won't he catch them? And when he does catch them, he's going to take, I collect your fucking head. He's going to take your face off. But it's all about that suspense and that chase leading up to that situation. It never felt like there were any real chases here. I never felt like I wanted my fave to make it out. I didn't see anybody try to outsmart Leatherface, try to be clever, try to scheme, create a diversion, hiding, spotting, trying to appeal to his sick nature. No! Everyone literally walks into their own death. It very much felt like lazy writing. There were no real chases, no real suspense, no real intensity. We spent a lot of time with the young lady hiding underneath the bed. That really didn't give me what I needed it to give. It just was not there. It was non-existent. You really have people just waiting around, waiting to die. He really didn't have to go far to seek much, because everybody was just right there waiting at his beck and call, waiting for the goddamn chainsaw to come near his face. Now, the group of friends, I was trying to, give a little leadway with the group of friends because they were looking for that stupid title to the house. Now, that whole fucking party bus of people just sitting, waiting to die outside, unbeknownst to them, all the murders going on, just having a good ass time. Why? Absolutely why? That was one of the dumbest aspects of the movie. I absolutely hated that. Now, what I will give credit here, the kills, the blood, the gore, the carnage, all the stuff we love, I liked it here. I love the aspect of, him being really blunt and throwing things and throwing the sledgehammer, throwing the chainsaw, all that kind of brute force, or those like intense moments of where it's just like boom, he's there. I mean, that was, it was giving me something, because I didn't get anything here. But that passion and that chase for, oh my God, like he's right there, really being a little jump because that chainsaw just revved up. It just was not there. It was non-existent here in this film. Every kill felt really easy and unearned, and just was, hey, they want blood, they want Texas Chainsaw, we're gonna give them blood. We do, but we want story too. Can we get a chase? Can we get a chase? A duck? A dodge? No? Okay. Now, they took it really, really far trying to Laurie Strode this whole situation. Absolutely not. Why? They took a lot of leaps and bounds trying to tie in the first film with this one. I was like, what? Why? How? Just no. We have the final girl from the very first film, that 1974 film, feeling the need, 100 years later to get that vengeance, to, I'm going to avenge my friends, and I remember this. And it has absolutely nothing to do with this new Leatherface here, who we're going to get to, and I save for last. It does not work here. They tried to do the whole Halloween thing here and have that Laurie, Michael Myers little banter, and that, this was long overdue. It absolutely does not work here. It worked in that film because it's always been that presence of, that being her brother and that little thing back and forth. That's always been their situation. There's always been that need to get Michael Myers and who's gonna lose and who's gonna finally be vindicated. That's been there. Here, that has been absolutely non-existent. You were the final girl in 1974, and now we decide to come back here. It felt completely out of left field and did not tie in well. Now, if they chose to give her her own separate film or do a different scenario where they do revert back to that situation and her, toughening up and seeking vengeance, and she just gets her own film all on her very own, a whole different, distant Leatherface, vengeance, whatever. Cool. You can't bring that and then just try to put it here with this brand new concept and this brand new person, and we're left with somebody who eventually just treads through the film to die. She was completely unlikable. You did not care about her journey. Most of the time, I found myself just wanting her to get the fuck off the screen and get out of the way. Especially if we have her get to that moment she's finally been waiting to get to. I love how we have her looking at the Polaroid. It's all fresh and crisp from 1974. But it's just like, yeah, I've been waiting for this whole moment. And we're like, okay, we're about to get something here. We get all the way there, and her character hesitates and doesn't shoot right away and goes, say you remember me. It went real say my name. She got real Destiny's Child for no goddamn reason. Get it out my face. Now, last but definitely not least, this freshly plucked, dull, boring, unearned, uninteresting new installment of this fresh Leatherface. Leatherface, you don't have to do much for Leatherface. Leatherface is one of those lovely characters who does not speak. Pretty much you can get any large man and, you know, mess him up a little bit. Boom, you got your Leatherface. How do you mess that up? First of all, we try to humanize him a little bit. We kill off his sweet, poor, unsuspecting mama. Like, how dare y'all try to give him a logical motivation? It instantly made the on-screen characters unlikable and made him less of that menace who just does what he does because he's confused and he's been influenced by his family and his tradition. No, we try to humanize the kills because he has a reason to. They killed the mama. Then we have this chainsaw magically appear in the fucking wall. Why is it there? We just don't know. Like, them trying to make him this brand new character and just the last of the Mohicans at this orphanage, and he's just this confused large man, and since the mother is gone, he's unhinged. So now he wants revenge and he becomes this makeshift Leatherface. That's all fine and dandy. You want to make a new Leatherface? Cool. It's really hard to do that when you're trying to tie in that 1974 Final Girl, and we're already in a world where that Leatherface exists and that's considered a real situation. Like, how? We couldn't even have fucking forethought just to connect the lineage and just have him be, you know, an extension of that Leatherface sick family. Like, he could have been removed and he could have been, you know, long in the orphanage and this was always an undertone. We don't even make it a point to connect the family and connect some type of dots for him to instantly want to be Leatherface makes sense. No, it just is. Like, it was very, very laughable. Like, I'm not sure how I felt about the mask here. I do love the more rugged mask, but it wasn't really bad here. It just kind of looked like a melting face. But, you know, Leatherface being sick enough and wanting a face so bad and stitching the face on. I love how the mask here just stayed on. That face, it just stayed on with, you know, blood and desperation. There was no stitching involved. He cut it off his mom's face and slapped it on, and it stayed there the whole film, submerged in water. Like, it was completely laughable. This just was not the Leatherface that we are accustomed to. I love how he just pulled out a butcher apron out of nowhere. Now, if we are going back to, you know, where it all started, of course, we know why he would have a butcher apron on and why things are a certain way and why he behaves this way. No, things are just here just to be here, just to say he's Leatherface, and they have no reason for it. Even the house was clean this franchise, y'all. The house was practically spotless. It just wasn't the same vibe, and it doesn't feel like it belongs in the franchise. Well, you guys, those were my 6 reasons why this movie sucked. Please drop down and tell me if you understood where I was coming from. Did you have some of the same sentiments, or did you just enjoy the film? You know, a lot of people don't have any aspects or expectations for horror in general. It's just like, girl, just enjoy the kills. I'm not one of those girls. I like stuff the way I like it. And if you would like to defend the reason why you like that film, you know, go ahead, drop it down in the comments. I like that too. I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say. Thank you so much for watching this video. I see you guys next time. Bye.